today I am sharing this joyful little project. Ta-da! Hello, I'm Claire from Created the Otaway. I'm an absolute craft addict based in the UK, and my first love has to be paper crafting. I'm going to show you how to fold, cut and create the Otaway. So whether you're a beginner or you just need a little crafty fix, I'm going to walk you through this project step by step. No stress, just crafty joy and a whole lot of fun. A big hug to my lovely Crafty Ottas Club. Thank you for your support. And it's so lovely to have you here. Make sure you let me know you watched in the comments underneath. And if you're interested in joining a lovely craft community and a great Facebook group, come find out what it's all about by selecting the join button. So today's project, this is a Peekaboo card. So this is not new, it has been around a little while, but I haven't done a video tutorial of one and I really fancied doing it. You can see it's got a few different elements with it, but as ever I will take you through step by step and we'll learn the basics together. It's basically a couple of pieces of card, 3 pieces of card. It's just the way you assemble it that makes it have that peekaboo. You could do a little fun element, have sort of a pop-up image, a little animal or a funny happening going on there. This one is just for a really lovely lady that I know, and I've just done a happy birthday. So happy birthday inside, and then wishing you a little extra happiness just because you're you is the second saying. I've done it with what is gradually becoming known as my signature flowers. I've just used some punches to make these flowers and the odd die, and there's a separate video on how to make the flowers if you want to do that. The original paper I used for this is Stampin' Up, but in my one I'm going to make today, I'm going to use this otter paper. So this is all you need to make this card in your paper design, your designer series paper. You've got 1 piece for the front, these 2 pieces for the inside, and this time instead of the sentiment popping up, I'm going to have this little otter popping up instead. So I've used that. So that's all you need designer series paper wise, and I will take you through the sizes of those. And then there's just 3 bits of card, so 3 bits of card like that. So I used an A4 sheet, and this is from another piece of leftover card, and I'll take you through the sizes of that. If I let you have the sizes now, I've done it in inches and centimetres, so screenshot that. I've done it to fit a UK size card for a standard envelope in the UK, so that's how I've come to my sizes, but you may need to adjust them ever so slightly because I believe our cards are slightly bigger. I'm not sure, they might be slightly smaller, but let me know in the comments. I'm happy to help out where I can. So that's the sizes. I used on this bit here, I used a die, and the reason I used a die, you could use a punch, you could cut with a craft knife if you've got a craft knife, but I don't know if you can see the dies that I've got, they've got a stitching element around them, and I really love stitching on my dies. So I used this set, which is a Stampin' Up set, and it's the layered stylish shapes dies, and you get the whole lot in the set. I'm not sure if it's current because I'm no longer a Stampin' Up demonstrator, but you may be able to pick something up in the retired. Lots of demonstrators sell off their retired stock when they don't need it anymore to sell, so have a look. If you've got layered dies in your stash, which quite honestly is an investment, I think, because you just use them time and time again, have a look through and see which ones will fit. All I'm using on this one is this circle one, which there's a set of 6, and it is, oh, let's do it here, it's 2.5, nope, the actual die cut bit is about 2 1/8, 2 1/4, So that's a 2 1/4 circle that I'm using on this today. So shall we get on with the card? Because I waffle for ages, but what you want to know is how to make this card. So we've got 3 pieces. We've got, should we call them A, B and C? Okay, let's do that. So the card that has 3 pieces, let's have a look. This is going to be, what should we call them? I want to make sure I get this right for you. So A, B and C. So A is going to be that piece, which I think is the front. I'll tell you in a minute. B is this piece and C is the smaller piece. So that doesn't mean anything, does it? I'm just waffling. Okay, so the first bit, the bit that I'm calling A, that is 4 1/8. So if I get my paper trimmer, because I've already cut these to size so you wouldn't have to hang around too much. Okay, so I've cut it at 4 1/8 and it is by 8 1/2. Now I'm talking inches, but if you screenshot the size there was centimetres as well. So just check that that's 8 1/2. Yeah, so the bit that's 4 1/8 by 8 1/2, that is piece A that we're going to use, and we're going to score that at 5 7/8. So I'm going to do that now because it will be easier for me to explain which part of the card this is. So this bit, 4 1/8 by 8 1/2, is scored at 5 7/8, and we are calling it section A, and this actually is the front of the card. Okay, so A is the front. So it's just like that. Okay, it does look like the front, but it looks like it's not the right piece for the back, but it will be. So we're going to put that to one side. The next piece, which we're going to call B, that is 4 1/8. So 4 1/8, okay, by 8 3/4. So 8 3/4 inches there, and we are going to score that at 4 3/8. So 4 3/8, and this is going to be the middle piece, so the inside of your card. Okay, so that's going to be like that, and it should be the same both sides. So it was 4 1/8 by 8 3/4, and it should just fold and make its own card really, and that is going to be that piece there. Okay, so it's a bit weird looking at the moment, but it will all come together. And then the last piece, this piece here, we're going to call C. Okay, that's 4 1/8 by 6 1/8. So 6 1/8 by 4 1/8. Okay, and we are going to score that at 5 7/8, which again seems a bit strange because there's only a little sliver that's left over. Okay, let's move this paper trimmer out of the way, and that bit is just going to be folded over. It's ever such a small fold, just that little piece there, and that is going to join on there. Okay, so if I take the pieces separately, this is A, this is the front, and this section of the card. It's not quite the back because this bit is going to be the back. Then we're going to adhere the middle section, which is the bit that's the same size on those 2 pieces. And then this piece here, we're going to adhere this, just that little sliver there, to the back of there. And that's going to be our card, like so. Okay, so just think of it like that. Okay, and now I'll show you how to do it all. So we're going to concentrate on A to begin with, the front piece. Now the designer series paper that I've used on the front, the Ottas paper. Again, it's a Stampin' Up paper, loads of different sheets. Again, I'm really sorry, I don't know if it's still current. I guess it isn't. But again, you might pick this up in clearance sale or all sorts of places you could pick it up. Lots of demonstrators like ourselves buy more than one pack of paper, and they've probably got some stashed away. So just ask if you particularly like that paper. I like it because it's got the scenes. It looks like a scene on it, and then the other side is just an all over pattern that can be any way up. So that's why I've chosen it. So I've cut my designer series paper just 1/8 of an inch smaller than the front, and I'm going to go ahead and stick that straight on. So this piece of card or designer series paper is 5 3/4 by 4, so just 1/8 of an inch smaller. And I like the fact that it's got the 2 otters. I'm also really aware that I'm going to be die cutting a circle out of here from the front piece, and I made sure that I cut my paper so that it wasn't going to be cutting out one of the otters. Okay, so that's really important, because you don't want to go to all the trouble of finding a nice piece of paper and then realising that the bit that you're going to cut out and no one's going to see is the bit that's got the detail on. And believe me, that's happened to me. Okay, so remember this has got that back piece. You are just doing it to the front piece here. So it's a bit tricky for you to see, but I'm just going to line up from this end and just make sure there's a white bit of border all the way around. Now, if you've watched my videos before, if I'm putting a piece of designer series paper onto coloured card, I always go along the edge of the card and just fill in the white core, but you don't have to do that on this because it is a white card, so it saves you some time. Okay, so that is just stuck on there, and that's the front bit done. Apart from, we need to die cut this circle. So this circle is 2 1/4 inches. You can do any shape you like. It doesn't need to be a circle. You could do an oval, you could do a rectangle, you could probably even get away with a square. You might need to adjust your sizes on the inside. So I'm going to do this circle, and you can put it where you like, up and down. I'm going to go for the middle bit, although I'm a bit sad that I'm losing this, but it's going to be fine. So I've got a bit of washi tape. I've stuck it to me jeans or my hand a few times so it's not so sticky. You can use masking tape, whatever you want, but I'm just going to put it somewhere that I think is a good place. I'm also aware that I need to stick this bit to the other side of here, so I'm not doing it too close, I'm not doing it too far, just about there, because that little edge is going to be stuck and there's plenty of room down there. So about there, I think. Okay, now I'm going to put it through my die cutting machine. Okay, I don't know how much of that you'll see. Let's put it through. I have a plate. I usually do this off camera, but I've been asked by quite a few people what machine I use. I use it as a Stampin' Up one, as I've recently left Stampin' Up and I've got it. But you could use a Big Shot, you could use anything. Okay, so let's see what that comes out like. Now, I've deliberately cut it through the designer series paper and the card that I'm using. Oh, it's stuck more than I wanted it to. Oh, that'll be fine. I'm going to sort that out in a minute. Okay, so I'm gently pulling that off. So there's my bit, and you can see there's my hole. Okay, easy peasy. Okay, the next bit is this piece. Okay, so this is folded in half, and it's like this. This is the bit we called B, and that is just going to line up. So the edges line up together. Eventually this side's going to be stuck, but at the moment what you're trying to do is work out where you want to cut the next circle. So I've got my pencil, I'm just going round. Now I could have stuck it on and then die cut them together, but I use 300-gram weight card, which is really thick. I like really sturdy cards. I like them to stand up no matter how much weight they've got on the front with their embellishment. So I use extra thick card. So I'm going to use this as my template, my pencil for this. I'm just going to line it up as best I can. Now, if it's not exact, it doesn't matter. This is a handmade card. It really doesn't matter. Now, I am going to put... Oh, actually, before I do that, I'm going to put the designer series paper on, and I'll explain why in a minute. Okay, so I've cut 2 pieces of designer series paper, and they are 4 inches by 4 1/4. Now I've just gone 1/8 of an inch smaller than the paper, and I'm just going to stick that on as well. Please don't look at the otter that I'm gluing. I've been traumatised that I'm gluing him face down, but he'll never know. Having a name like Ottaway is definitely why we're obsessed in our house with otters. Okay, and that's why my Crafty Ottas Club membership on YouTube is called the Crafty Ottas. Any excuse to get otters in there somewhere, even though it's not the right spelling. Okay, oh, there's another otter. Ah. Okay, I'm going to stick that on as well. Okay, just make sure that's lined up. So I've got a nice white border all the way around, like so. Okay, now I'm going to cut this out. Again, you could probably cut through both. I'm not going to do that because I really want it to be nice. I don't want it to be a rough edge. So let's bring this in again. Let's see, I'm going to lay that over the top of the circle. I'm just going to have a little look to make sure it's where I think it needs to be. Okay, put that on there, my other plate on the top. And notice I'm not putting it all the way through. I'm only going as far as I need to cut that circle out. Although this one doesn't crank. Oh, it did then. With my big shot, oh my goodness, the noise it makes when I put it through. Okay, so you can see, if I peel that off, that there is the stitching, but if I turn it over, there's still stitching on the inside. Not as sharp as this side, but it's still got some. Okay, so with this one, hopefully you can still see, I'm going to put that inside, and because I've got the washi tape on, I can move that around until I'm happy where it is. Press it down, push down on the washi tape, have another look. Yep, it looks central. Run it through again. Oh, just like so. Wow, that's a first for me, die cutting on screen. And it wasn't even that bad. Okay, let's have a look if we've done it okay. Gently pull out that washi tape because you don't want to rip your paper. That's the last thing you want. Okay, so that is going to now be stuck inside my card. So this bit, the holes match up, okay, there. So I'm going to match those holes up and just stick this bit. So let's put some glue all over this folded bit. Oh, a bit heavy with the glue there, wasn't I? Look. Okay. So I'm going going to match this up. Again, I've got Tombow glue because it gives me a bit of wiggle room. So I sort of match it, and then I just look at it the other side, make sure this is lined up, but also make sure the top and the bottom are lined up here and here and here. And when I'm happy, I just hold it down. Oh my goodness, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the reveal is. So that's the middle bit. So we've got our card like that. I'm really trying hard not to say ta-da, because it's not ta-da yet, is it? Okay, the back piece. Now this piece doesn't have anything on it, apart from it's got my little C. I am going to put some glue on this piece here, so I'm just going to fold that down a bit. I only want glue on the tab. I don't want it anywhere else. I'm trying really hard not to push loads of glue out. And this time I'm going to match it up with this back piece. So what I'm going to do is unfold it like so, bend that bit back so my card is flat, and then I'm going to meet it here. Before I stick too hard, oh, well, that didn't work, did it? It's because I didn't press it at all. Let's put it on there, line it up again, there and there. Press it a bit, Claire. You need it to stick a bit. But before I press too hard, I'm just lining it up there so it's folded. Okay, like so. Make sure that piece is inside, and then just have a look. When it's all folded flat, does it meet? Is it hidden behind? Okay, like that. Yep, exactly meets all the way round. I'm trying not to say ta-da because I'm so excited that it met. Okay, so let me go through that again. So all we did, we had our first piece here, A, which is the front of the card. We added this piece to the middle. Okay, that was the middle of the card. And then we added this little thin slice to the back of this. Make sure that's folded in, and that one is over, and that's it. Oh, okay, now we just got to do all the fun stuff. So what do we do first? No, I'm not going to do the reveal. I'm going to do this piece here. So this piece is just going to say happy birthday. Okay, so the very back piece, when the card's closed, it's just going to say happy birthday, and that's it. Now there's loads of ways you could do this. You could stamp it on this and stick it behind, but I just want it to be flat. Okay, not really anything too exciting other than saying what it needs to, which is happy birthday. Oh, there's a lot of ink on there. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, please come out fine. I'm really talking to the craft fairy, not you guys. I'm so relieved. Apart from I got some ink on there. Don't worry, I can cover that with an embellishment. Isn't that what crafting's all about? Okay, that's a lovely happy birthday. So when I do that though, I can't see it. So this is the reveal bit. So what I need is my little bit of paper with my otter. Okay, and I'm going to stick that on. How do I do that? Okay, so open everything up. This is the piece. This is the back of the front, and this is where the reveal is. And luckily for me, genius, that exactly fits. I didn't even measure that. I'm so happy. I love it. I love crafting. Okay, let me tell you what size that is. 2.5. Got to be by 4. Yeah. Okay. Now let's see if the otter reveals. Okay, so if I just place that on and not glue it. Okay. Bring that round. Now I haven't glued it because I'm not sure. But when he closes, does it reveal the otter? Yes. Right, okay, we can stick it. I feel like he might need to have a speech bubble, but we'll worry about that later. I'm so happy that it fits. Okay, let's stick this on. Now, if you don't want to put a piece of designer series paper as your reveal bit, I'll show you what I did on my other one. Oh, nearly stuck him upside down. Oh my goodness, can you imagine? That would have been so funny. That would have been so funny. I'd have had to give it to my other half, wouldn't I? I wouldn't be able to send it out. Okay, there's the otter. I love him, he's so cheeky. Okay, now let's bring it all back together. So, there's the front of my card with the reveal panel in there. Okay, then I've got my middle bit, which has got my 2 circles. This bit flaps in, this bit goes round. Okay, you ready? Ta-da! Hello, Otter. Oh, it's nice to meet you. Oh my God, I've turned into a crazy woman. Okay, that's it. Ta-da! I am job done. Let me show you the other one. So what's left over is these circles with pebbles. You could use them as something. You could use them as tags for something else. What I did with this one, let me show you this one again, just before we go. Okay, so I didn't put a piece of designer series paper. What I did was I used the other side, you know, when we cut out this bit on here, the nice stitching was on that side of the paper. So what I'm going to do is use that on here as my sentiment, because you've got the nice stitching. So I've literally just stamped on this, and then I've put it in. Well, actually I didn't. What I did was stamp on that. Let's put it back together. And then I opened my card and I slotted this in because it exactly fits. There's no trickiness about it, it's just there. I mean, you could stick it in place and then stamp. It depends how sure you are of your stamping. I wasn't, so I stamped there and then I stuck it in place with some glue, and then it automatically fits and it becomes your reveal. I've got to say hello to the otter again. Look, she'll say hello. Ready? Hi, Otter. Oh my God, who am I going to give that to? Right, so there is our card for today's make. So until next time, happy crafting and be kind to yourself. Thank you so much for crafting with me today. I hope this gave you a little bit of joy and lots of inspiration. If you really enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment. I love to chat craft. I always reply, and don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more cosy papercraft ideas every week. You can also join my YouTube club, the Crafty Ottas, for exclusive tutorials and a whole lot more of me. It's a really lovely creative community, and the link is in the description below. Just select the join and you will find out more. Any questions, just get in touch. Until then, happy crafting, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.